Hey guys, welcome to another online math class. This video will be our first lesson on trigonometry. And by the end of this lesson, our goal is to be able to label the different sides in a triangle, know the different ratios, and finally be able to use them to find unknown side lengths. So just pause the video here and take a couple of minutes to write these down. Alright, so starting with our first goal, we're going to label the different sides in a triangle. So this here is a right angle triangle. I'll just draw the right angle in there. And the angle we're trying to find is this one here. It's represented by that sign, and that's called theta. So no matter where this symbol is, the longest side in a right angle triangle is always the hypotenuse, spelled like that, and often it's just called h. Our other two angles, these are called opposite or the adjacent. This changes depending where our unknown angle is, or our theta there. So our first side, opposite, that's always directly opposite to the unknown angle. So if you look at that, it's directly opposite like this. So that one is always our opposite. And adjacent is just the one left over. So in this case, that will be our adjacent. And they're often just labeled as H, O, and A. So let's draw that down into our books without all these markings. Just make sure you've got that in your notes. Alright, now moving on, we've got the exact same triangle, but this time we've got our unknown angle up the top here. Our hypotenuse still stays the same. It's still the longest one. I'll just draw the right angle in there again. And this time my opposite is down the bottom here. That is my side called the opposite because that's opposite to the unknown angle there. And this one will be my adjacent. So make sure you know how to label and identify each of the three different sides in a right angle triangle. Alright, so now that we've hit our first goal, we know how to label the different sides. Let's move on to the trigonometric ratios. So these are the three main formulas you'll be using in trigonometry. Make sure you've got them down into your books and make sure you know them really well. Our first one is sine theta equals opposite divided by hypotenuse. We've got cos and we got tan as well. This one's adjacent over hypotenuse, and that's opposite divided by the adjacent. And people, including myself, use this here, so katoa, just to help us remember the three ratios. So standing for sine opposite hypotenuse, ka for cos adjacent hypotenuse, and toa for tan opposite and adjacent. So these three formulas might not mean anything to you just yet, but let's have a go at using them with these questions here. So for this first set of questions here, it says find the value of x in these right angle triangles correct to two decimal places. So I've got this triangle there. I need to find out which two sides I'm working with. And we know that this one's the adjacent, because this one will be the opposite, because that's directly opposite, and this one will be the hypotenuse. So the two sides I'm using are this one and that one, which is A and H. If I write out that acronym from before again, I've got so, ka, and toa. I've got the adjacent and hypotenuse, so I'll be using that formula there. And that formula was cos theta equals the adjacent, which is x, over hypotenuse. I'll just write the formula there. That's going to be cos theta. We know theta is 27 here. Is going to equal adjacent. We don't know what that is, so we're just going to call that x, and hypotenuse, which is 11. So what I did here was firstly identify which one of the three formulas I'll be using. I know it was this second one because I've got the adjacent, hypotenuse, and that angle there. And then I substituted all the known values into the formula. So I know the angle, which is 27. I don't know what the adjacent is, but they called it x, so I'll replace a with x. And I replaced the hypotenuse, the h, with 11 because it tells me it's 11 centimeters. Now I need to rearrange this formula so I get x by itself, so I can solve for x. So that's going to be cos 27, I'll leave that in brackets, times 11 equals x. So going back to our equations, I need to do the opposite of divided by 11 to get x by itself. And if I multiply this side by 11, I also need to do it on the left as well. So now that we've done that, we're going to get our scientific calculators out. I'm going to press cos, put our angle in there, 27, make sure you close the bracket, and then times 11. And we know x is going to be 9.80 centimeters. So x equals 9.80 centimeters. Remember, correct two decimal places and make sure you include the units. And next question, question B here. The sides that I've got, I know this is the hypotenuse because that's the longest. And this one is the opposite, and that one will be the adjacent. So I'm going to use toa here because I've got the opposite and the adjacent. So this formula was tan theta. I'll just write that in. So tan theta equals the opposite, which is x, over a. I'll just replace that with O for now. I'm going to substitute the values in now. So tan 69 equals opposite, which is x, over adjacent, which is 38. Alright, now I'm going to multiply both sides by 38 to get x by itself. So this is what it will look like. And once you've got that, you're just going to put that all into your calculator. Get your scientific calculators out again. Press tan, put your angle in there, and multiply it by 38. And you get 98.99. And make sure you put the correct units. X equals 98.99 millimeters. Alright, now it's your turn. Have a go at solving these two questions and just unpause the video when you're ready to go through this with me. Alright, so this first one, firstly identifying the sides we have. This one is the adjacent and that's the hypotenuse. I'm going to use car. So that's cos. I'll chuck them straight in. Cos 24 equals x over 3. I'll get 3 times cos 24 equals x. Once you've done that, put that into your calculator. 3 times cos 24 and enter, and you get x equals 2.74 centimeters. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. And next question, we got our sides that we know. This one opposite and that's the adjacent. So I'll be using TOA. So that's tan. I'll put the angle straight in, which is 50, equals opposite x over adjacent, which is 21. I'm going to do 21 times tan 50 equals x. So therefore x equals, and to get our calculators out, it's going to be 21 times tan 50. Press enter and you get 25.03 meters. Make sure you check the units for that as well. And give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Alright, now having a look at these questions, this one's a little bit different. It's very similar, just a little bit different. Let's have a look at this first. We've got the opposite here and the hypotenuse. So that's going to use so I've got sine theta, which is 33, equals opposite, which is 21, over x, our hypotenuse. The only difference this time is the unknown is at the bottom of the fraction and not the top. When this happens, you can just swap this, you can just swap that with this. So that leaves me with x equals 21 over sine 33. And then you just put that straight into your calculator. The reason why we can swap them is because if I want to get x by itself, I need to start off by multiplying both sides by x. So I've got x times here. That leaves me with x times sine 33 equals 21. And now I need to get rid of the sine 33 on the left. So I need to divide both sides by sine 33. And then I'm left with x equals 21 over sine 33, as you can see there. So just a bit of a shortcut. If this happens, you can just swap them. I'll just rub that out there. So once you're up to here, just pop it straight into your calculator. I've got 21 over sine 33. And press enter. And you get x equals 38.56 meters. And question B, I've got my angle here. So that's my opposite. That's longer, so that's the hypotenuse. This will be my adjacent. So I'm using TOA here. So I've got tan, angle is 53, equals the opposite 71.3 over the adjacent x. Now I'm just going to do my quick swap there. It's going to be 71.3 over tan 53. And then I'm going to put that straight into my calculator. So get that out. I've got, just clear that. Gives me 71.3 over tan 53. Press enter. Make sure you close the bracket or else you get this error. There we go, that's better. Press enter and you get 58.73 centimeters. And last set of questions here. Pause the video here, have a go at these by yourself and just unpause it when you're ready to go through them with me. Alright, so question A. I've got the opposite and hypotenuse, so that's so again. That's sine 31 equals opposite of 6 over x. So x is going to be 6 over sine 31. And x equals, just quickly put that in your calculator, like shown on the right here, and you get 11.65 meters. Give yourself a tick if you got that one correct. And last question here, I've got my opposite and adjacent. Opposite because it's directly opposite to that angle. So that means I'm using TOA. So tan 46 will equal 27.2 over x. So therefore x equals 27.2 over tan 46. And x will equal, I got 26.27 millimeters. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully by now you guys can label the different sides in a triangle, know the different trigonometric ratios, and finally can use them to find unknown side lengths. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all back online.